To our webinar today, which will be talking about unlocking AI's real value for business, practical tools for cost saving and growth. And I'm joined by the excellent Stacey Hawks and Waleed Alsaleh, who will be giving us a run through of sort of the latest with AI and how to best use it, and even looking into specific apps like Odoo, who have really looked into implementing AI in their sort of business practices, and it's just sort of revolutionizing the way people are working today. So we look forward to bringing you through it all. So just before we get going, I'm just going to give you a little insight on the agenda today. So I'm just going to give you a quick introduction into target integration for those who do not know. And then I'm going to pass it over to Stacey, who's going to be running through the state of AI in business. And then we'll pass it over to Waleed, who's going to show AI in action. And then we're just going to do a quick sort of Q&A if anyone has any sort of itching questions that they would like to get out. We'll answer them as best as possible, and then we're going to wrap it up. So it's going to be 45 minutes in and around. So today, as I was saying, I was joined by Stacey and Waleed. So Waleed's coming from Odoo, which is a business software solution, which we are a partner of in target integration. And then we're also joined by Stacey from Squaredmap, who sort of looks at businesses end to end and optimizes them as best as possible through AI, digital, lean, and sustainable practices. So just a little bit of housekeeping, as I said. So it's a 45-minute session, including the Q&A. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A throughout. The slides and recorded session will be shared with you after. So if you want to look back on anything that we were talking about, you'll be able to access it. So, just who are we and what do we do? So, at Target Integration, we look at ourselves as digital adoption specialists. By this, we basically look at a company's processes and look at how we can digitally optimize them through different sort of processes, through using different softwares such as Odoo, which we'll be looking at today. Basically trying to create a more efficient and effective workflow for a company. So we're based across four different countries in Ireland, which is where we have our headquarters, the UK, US, and India. In Ireland, we're based through Belfast and Cork, and in the UK, we have our offices in Birmingham and Oxford. So we're 17 years in business, digitally optimizing companies. So you can say we've been at it a while, but we've have over 4,500 happy customers worldwide, 6,000 projects completed, and we have a team of around 135 experts who help us in our day-to-day practices of getting business to where they need to be. Here's just a brief look at our team, and we can see I haven't made this yet, but I will get on this list one day if I keep up the good work. So we can just see Rohit Thakral is our CEO, and then this is just some of the UKI team that we have. So services we offer. So if you're thinking of a digital project, this is sort of the way people come in. They might be at the early stage of a project, and we take them through a digital maturity assessment. So we see how far along they are, what sort of softwares are best implemented for them, and basically create a plan of where we'll get them to more digital process. And we'll create a roadmap creation as well, which will sort of showcase where we plan to put them in the near future. And we do this through vendor selection, which is different sort of softwares that we offer. We also have companies that are in the middle of sort of maybe their digital process, or they want to optimize their company a lot better. So we cover rescue projects. So you might have the dreaded duplicate data. So we'd come in and sort of clean up everything and make sure we get your business fully functioning. And we also do support on existing projects. So you might be with another partner at the moment and you might not be happy with them. So we'd come in and sort of fully optimize it from there. Or you could be a grade A type of client and have everything pretty much well organized, but just need to take it to that next sort of stage, or you want to bring it to a different software. That's where we come in. And then These are just some of the partners we work with. So we're not partner diagnostic, but we would be focusing on a lot with sort of Odoo, Microsoft, and more, which we'll be running through Odoo today with Waleed, our key partner manager. And then this is just a little look at the various industries that we cover and some different happy clients of ours. So as you can see, we're in the manufacturing, construction, engineering, retail, wholesale and distribution, hospitality, food and drink, financial services, professional services, and educational training. So I'm going to pass it over to Stacey, and she's going to bring you through her slides.
Thanks, Ryan. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacey Hawkes, and I'm the co-founder of Squaredmap. We are a transformation consultancy, and we work with both SMEs and corporate clients on digital, lean, sustainability, and AI, which we're talking about today. Today, I'll be speaking about how businesses can implement AI ethically, effectively, and sustainably. So unless you've been living under a rock, AI is one of the biggest buzzwords in business. And although some people think that implementing AI into your business is something for the future, most of the organizations that we're working with today are already experimenting with AI. But very few are actually turning that experimentation into measurable, sustainable value. And the big question now is whether to use AI. It's how do we use it well? So everyone can use it, but can they use it well? Okay, and at Squaredmap, we work with businesses every day who are trying to make sense of AI and what the shift is towards AI, figuring out how to take AI from something that's very abstract or just kind of a buzzword to something that's genuinely improves performance and reduce costs and helps people work smarter. So if you want to go to the next slide, right? Perfect. So the reality is that many businesses rush into AI adoption. I've seen it time and time again. They just scramble to try to implement AI in their business, and they might use something like a chatbot, or they might start using, OpenAI or, Claude or anything like that, or they might use AI to create content, or they might trial some automation, but without clear direction. I just think that, they're going to struggle. Things like governance, change management within your team, the tools just end up sitting on a shelf if you don't do those things right. We have to embed those kind of basic foundational blocks into it. And we call these AI islands. I don't know if you've heard the term, but it's something that I've been looking into a lot more. And they're really disconnected initiatives, and they don't link back to the strategy or the data. And really, they don't link back to the people that are working in your organization. And because of that, the results are limited. And teams just get frustrated as well. They're trying to invest all this time and money into AI, and then it just doesn't work out. And then change management becomes a struggle with your team. So the goal today is to move from AI as an experiment and then move it to be more of an enabler for you guys. So something practical, scalable, and valuable. Okay, so there's 3 pillars, if Brian moves on to the next one, that I want to talk about today. And I think they're so important, and they are the strategic intent, the ethical data and governance, and the process and people integration piece. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next slide. The first one is strategic intent, and I think that's the first foundational block. AI implementation should always start with why. Ask yourself, why are you implementing AI into your business? What is the benefits for it? What are going to be the outcomes? So what's the specific process that you want to embed with AI? So how are you going to integrate AI into that specific process? So when you're going through this, just have one specific process in mind, and how is AI going to become an enabler for that process? Okay. If you don't define what the outcomes of them, you're gonna really struggle. So when you start thinking about business outcomes, you need to think about how you're going to measure success. So if I have a benchmark of a data point that I'm looking at with that process, what is the outcome that I want to get to see that, to show that it's AI is successful? Without that link, AI just becomes a shiny tool, and it doesn't really deliver any impact. So for example, if you're using AI to automate something like quoting or forecasting in your financial piece of your process, you should be clear on what you're expecting to gain. Maybe reducing admin time by 20%, or maybe you're thinking about improving accuracy in your pipeline. And that's what turns AI from automation into transformation. It directly supports your strategy, not distracts from your strategy. A lot of people I see all the time is like, get so caught up in AI and they forget about what their strategy is for their business, what the plan is. And then they lose so much time and money with the distraction of AI rather than having specific outcomes that they want to achieve. So the biggest difference between companies that get results are those that have that strategy in mind. The next foundation, if you want to move on to the next slide, Ryan, is ethical data and governance. And I know Ryan touched on this earlier about data being clean and structured. That's so vital. So AI is only as good as the data it learns from. And I didn't get into too much about what is AI, how does Gen AI work, LLMs, things like that. But data is vital. It doesn't work, Gen AI doesn't work without the data that's in the system. So you need to have clean, good, consistent data. If your data is messy, or it's siloed, or it's inconsistent, your outputs from the AI tool will reflect that. So before implementing AI, it's critical to look at your data landscape. Is it clean, structured, and is it well governed? That's the other piece that people miss. So good governance also means ethics. So the data that's in the system needs to be transparent so that it's respecting privacy and it's ensuring accountability. So it's not just a compliance tick box activity, it's about trust. So when your customers or your employees or your partners that you're working with trust your AI decisions and what you're using the tool for, and you're transparent about it, it becomes easier for those to actually adopt the AI solution. So if that's your employees or it's your partners, they need to know what your data is built on and what the AI tool is using the data for. So from a systems point of view, things like systems like Odoo are going to help here because they're bringing in all your different data sets in one place. So anything from like your CRM data, so your clients, your customers, your HR, so your internal usage, your accounting, so your financial, it's all in one ecosystem. So Odoo creates like a single source of truth for you, a clean data foundation for AI to work from that's responsible and it's effective, right? So you're not feeding 5 different tools with 5 different versions of the truth. You're just building ethical AI on structured, reliable data. You can have a tech stack of multiple systems in different places, but is everything at the same point in time with that data set? Potentially not. So you're going to have issues with your AI output then from that. So having everything in one place like Odoo is going to help you. The next foundation, if you want to move on, Ryan, is process and people integration. I think this is a vital foundational block. I think they're all vital, but I think this is a big piece that people struggle with, right? So everyone's concern is AI going to replace people? It's not. It can't. It doesn't work without the people behind it. It's going to enhance their capability. And my co-founder Shannon's very on the call. She said it the other day, really good talking point was someone asked the question, will AI replace people? No, but it will. People that use AI will replace those people. So that's something that you really need to consider, okay? So for AI to work really well, you need to get the people that work on your team, in your organization, your partners, etc., to know how AI actually works. They need to trust it. They need to know where it fits in their workflow, and they need to know when to step in with human judgment. So that human in the loop, you hear people saying time and time again. They need to know when they should come in, when they should let it be autonomous, and use it as a co-pilot rather than letting the tool do the work for you. It has to enable you to work more efficiently. So training and change management is so vital. And I will say this time and time again, if you don't know where your staff members are on their AI literacy journey, that they understand the tool, they understand how it works, you're gonna have issues, you're gonna have resistance to change. There might be concerns that they feel like they're getting replaced. You need to get them to understand that it's a co-pilot tool rather than it does your work for you. So you can't just turn on an AI feature within a system and expect everybody to adapt. It's like, handing the keys to someone that's never learned to drive and saying, off you go, best of luck with it. They need to know the rules of the road. They need to know how it works. And you have to train them to get them to be more confident to be able to use the tool or the car, right? So you need to explain the why, the how, and the impact of the tool. And take something, for example, like Odoo's AI generated content or predictive lead scoring. The AI can suggest, but the team still needs to review it. They need to adjust it and they need to add their expertise into it. That's the human in the loop approach. And that will create the efficiency. That's what allows the automation to be beneficial for the business. So the most successful people or businesses that I see using AI is that they adopt that cultural shift within their team. They just don't see it as another software rollout. And I think that's a big piece, that human in the loop is vital for this to work. So if you go into the next slide, just about sustainable AI, people will think straight away environmental terms, but in digital transformation, it's not that, okay? It has a piece to play, but there's a couple of things that I think from a sustainable point of view, you want it to last, okay? So how are you going to use AI and how are you going to make it last? So the three lenses that I usually look at are economic sustainability. So there has to be a return on investment and it has to outweigh the total cost of the ownership. Operational sustainability, automation should reduce repetitive work. So if you do the same thing 100 or 1,000 times a day, that still should have human oversight. And then from an ethical sustainability perspective, it must align with the EU AI Act, which is going to be a big talking point in the next 6 to 8 months. If you haven't heard about it already, I'd recommend very highly to go and do your own investigation about it. It's going to be like GDPR all over again. So anytime you're using any AI tools within your business, you need to be compliant. And there's going to be different levels of compliance depending on what industry or sector that you're working in. And so a tool like Odoo is going to give you all of your EU AI Act inventory there and then. They know exactly where the AI is being used within the product. So it's going to be easier for you to comply with the EU AI Act. And then when you get those three kind of lenses right, they don't just deliver like quick wins. It builds a foundation of long-term competitive advantage. You need to consider that with the EU AI Act, you're going to have to show what tools you're using. If you are competing against another competitor and they don't have that, you're going to be faster to sell your service or business than they are. So being compliant before everybody else is going to be a big winning point of view for you guys as well. Okay, so I think the main thing you want to take about from sustainable AI, it's speed with control, it's efficiency with ethics, and it's automation with empathy. If you get that down, I think you're gonna drive on your AI implementation faster. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I didn't want to get too into detail about what AI is, but you need to have those foundational blocks. You need to think about the why and what the outcomes are. So if you go to the next slide, Ryan. I think how does what I've said move over to Waleed before he does the demo. So with Odoo, it's one of the first ERP systems that I've seen. I've worked with every type of tool. I work across all different types of industries, everything from a hypnotherapist to a manufacturing company. I've seen every tool there is in the industry. And what I like about Odoo and why I'm kind of, I suppose, supporting Odoo as a solution for my own customers is that it's one of the first systems that actually weave all of those foundational blocks that I talked about into their product. So everything from the CRM to the accounting to HR, they're not standalone tools and they're more AI enabled from a business process perspective. So I know Waleed will take you through the demo, and I'd encourage you to think about those foundations that I talked about, the strategic intent, the ethical data, and the people integration. Can you apply those within the system? So just to summarize and finalize, AI isn't about replacing humans, it's about amplifying them. So if you give them the right tools and you give them the right education and make them more AI literate, I think it's gonna, you're gonna have a very valuable business with the tool set that you use, So that's me. I'll pass you over to Waleed, and thanks for your time today. I know we'll have a Q&A at the end, so if you have any kind of specific questions, please feel free to ask or even start populating them in the chat as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a million, Stacey, for all the insightful updates with AI. Yeah, it's really important. People just sort of dive head first into it without understanding sort of the ins and outs to it. But thanks for explaining it. It makes I hope it helps a lot of people out there with that. But we're going to pass on to Waleed now, who is going to run us through Odoo.
That's a very old picture of me, but yeah, here I am. My name is Waleed, and I'm a partner manager here to do what I do is I work with our partners in the UK and Ireland to help them implement projects successfully. So I assist them in different aspects within their partnership. I'll jump a bit into what Odoo is. So Odoo is an all-in-one ERP, all-in-one business solution where we offer different applications that will help you implement your requirements successfully in a company. Could you go next? So a bit more. So yeah, like I say, it's all-in-one management software. It's very easy to use, which makes the change management that Stacey was talking about a bit easier because everyone is comfortable where they are. They've been doing things in a specific way, and learning could be a bit difficult. So what we do is we give them a solution that offers all the different aspects. However, it's still easy to use. So next, this is our mission since we started. Over 20 years ago, we wanted to unleash the company's potential by empowering the users with the tools they love, because we understand that you could have a lot of skill, but when you don't have the right tools to help you do your job, it could be a bit challenging, and you could be not really motivated to focus on the things that you can do best. Next. So basically, our main goal is to help people do more in less time and focus on the things that you do best. So we built a unique product. As Stacey was saying, we offer a fully integrated solution. So you have a bit over 70 applications that can, be used in different departments, which are completely fully integrated, fully featured, scalable, and intuitive. Now, obviously, we all look for things that could act as the source of truth, the one source of truth, where you have all the information within the same platform. You don't need to maintain any integration with any other solution that helps you grow and grows with you. And that is also intuitive and very modern in the way it does that. So I could go next. So again, just touching on what we've done. So these are some of the applications that we have, and we have an app for every need, which are also integrated with each other. As you can see, if you go to the next slide, we can see basically some of the solutions that you could possibly be using. Some companies use 10 to 15 different solutions, all sometimes integrated, sometimes not integrated. However, it's always hard to manage those integrations. So we've come up with one solution that has an app for every need that will help you replace most of the solutions out there with one main database with a set of applications. So as we said, you can scale your needs with any app. So in the beginning, you might be focusing on your main issue, your main requirement, the set of applications that you're trying to implement in the beginning. However, moving forward, you see that there's more and more things that you can implement because you could always be improving your business. Maybe you've implemented your accounting, your inventory, sales, purchase, the basic stuff that every company does. But then maybe you want to consider some marketing applications. Maybe you want to consider the HR applications. So we offer all of that again within the same platform and with the same cost as well, because you'll only pay based on the number of users that you have, regardless of how many applications they use. Which is what I was talking about as well. These are some of the integrated solutions that we currently have. So we obviously have a lot more, but these are some of the main things where you can find them natively integrated. However, you can also integrate with any other solution seamlessly because of the open API that we have. You're able to connect any different platform with Odoo. So what makes us different? If we go to the next slide, we can see this graph here that shows you some of the solutions out there on the market. And if you look at the graph on the left side, we have the business scope. So how much business scope can you cover versus how user friendly the solution is. And as you can see, we're placed on the top right, which to me is the best quadrant, because you always want to cover as much scope as you want, and you want also your employees to use them in an easy way, not face any change management, and obviously this will help them focus on the other things besides just the admin work and the solution and the ERP that they're using. These are some of the key figures on Odoo. So today we have over 6,000 employees. We have over 12 million users, 40,000 applications, talking about third-party applications. We are present in more than 175 countries through our partner network, and we have a 40% yearly growth year to year. Then we have 19 offices all over the world. I personally started in our Dubai office about 6 years ago. And then I've moved to Belgium to the headquarters, where I've been working here for a bit over 3 years now. I'll give you a bit of a personal story. When I joined Dubai, we were 20 employees in Dubai. I was maybe 2 months in after they opened the office there. Today in Dubai itself, we have over 800 to 900 employees. And that has happened over the last 5-6 years. So you can understand the impact and the amount that we're growing at because of the product and because of how strong the product is and how powerful it is. So these are also some of the solutions and some of the customers that we have, some of our references. Obviously, you see some names that you might already know, and we have more and more references that sign up with us every day. And potentially, we might have you as the new reference. We can put your logo here if you're interested in changing your tech stack. All right, I'll jump into a small demo. I didn't really focus today on the demo on showing most of the functional aspects, but more on the AI, because that is what we're focusing on today. So I'll just open up a quick demo that I've pre-prepared. Can just somebody confirm that you see the database?
That's all good.
Perfect. So I'll be talking a bit about, just give you a bit of an overview on Odoo. So this is a database currently that I have with those set of applications installed. Like I said, within Odoo, we have an app store where you have the possibility to add any application that you'd like to install on the database. And that as well is completely free of charge. As you can see here, we have 76 different apps that you can benefit from that are all categorized here. So sales, accounting, maybe your marketing, HR, and so on. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details. We have 75 applications, and if we take 10 minutes for each, that's 750 hours. I'm not going to do the math, but you get it. I'm going to be focusing mainly on the AI aspect today. So if you look at the CRM application, for example, so this is where you're able to manage your day-to-day opportunities as a salesperson. And the old way, you get an opportunity, that opportunity, you could search for the name of the company, you could search for some information online. But what we've done was we've embedded AI into this. So as you can see, first of all, you have the AI probability here, which you can just press on and it will update based on the data that you have on the system. So currently, you can see that the probability is 73.16% for you to close based on the company size, based on certain tags, based on the stage they're at, and so on. But I want to take it a step further. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new AI field, all right, that will get me the number of employees for that company. So if I say search online for, and then choose the field, say company name. All right. Located in, and let's specify the country that they're in, because you might get some different companies that have the same name. So located in this country, can you tell me the number of employees they have? And I add that field. All right, then I can obviously design how this form would look like, but I'll just call it very quickly here, company size. I missed company. And then I'm just going to close that editor. And once I've done that, I now have a new field on all my opportunities called company size. All right. So what I can do, so here the company name is called Global Solutions. If I press on the AI button, it's going to try and get information online. So it is in the UK, has approximately 8,000 employees. Now, it showed me text. Maybe I don't want it to be a text field. What I can do is I can actually change that field type. So I can go there and I can actually decide that I want this field to be an integer field. So I have the possibility to do all of that from the editor directly from here. All right. Now, say I want to take it a step further and I want to get further information about the company. So again, I go into my editor, I add a new section here at the bottom, and then I want to add a new AI field. So once I add that new AI field, I'm going to choose the field type. In this case, I want it to be a multi-line, and I've just pre-wrote what I wanted to search. So I'm just going to copy and paste that very quickly to make this faster. And all I need to do is just make sure that I'm using the right dynamic placeholders. So I'm going to say company name, and then here, just again, the country that it is there. So I'll choose dynamic placeholder, say country, and then country name. And then I add that field. Okay, so now I have that new AI field, and I'm going to say company information. Yeah. My spelling's not that good today, but it should be all good if the AI is working. So I'm going to close that now. And now, as you can see, we have that new field here. And the moment I press AI again, you're able to get all the information that we have online after it finishes loading. So in this case, the name Global Solutions is shared by multiple companies. How about we create a new opportunity? So we say the company is called Odoo, just for simplicity. So I create that new opportunity and I just confirm that the company name says Odoo here, and then I press on AI, and then the AI will look for information online and will add. And as you can see, Odoo is a well-known Belgian software solution, yada, yada, yada. You get the point. All right. So what I can also look at is I can, now we're looking at information in the internet. However, I can let also the AI read information that is available in the system. So if I go to my contacts and say I choose any of the, the companies that I work with, and again, I'm going to add a new section here. And in that section, I want to add a new field, a new AI field. Again, I'm going to choose it to be a multi-line text. Now, the purpose of what I'm doing now is that I want to find out the buying behavior of this product, of this customer, based on the data that I have in the system. So if I go in, I'm just going to again copy and paste the prompt that I've pre-prepared and just make sure that I re-choose the dynamic placeholders. So I wanted to read based on the sales order, on the order lines, and then on the created on. So when were these purchases made? Then I want to look at the product name as well. So what have they been buying? So I go here and I say, again, sales order, order line, and then the product that they've been looking at. And then I want to read the name of the product. And finally, what I'm also interested in is how much they purchased. So again, and then it's just the quantity. So now I want the AI to look into when have they purchased, what did they purchase, and how much have they purchased. And then I'm asking it to look at the purchasing behavior so that it can, generate some text explaining the buying behavior for that customer. So I'm going to say buying behavior. All right, I'm going to close that now. And now I go into my new tab, press there, and then it will start reading the data here. So as you can see here, if we look here on the top, these are the smart buttons. It shows you exactly what this customer has purchased. And if you look here, we have not done any sales for them, so there's no purchase data. However, let's look at another company that we've sold to before. So apologies. So maybe we look at Deco Addict in this case, because we can see we've invoiced 41,000. We've had some sales with them, but I just wanted to read the behavior for me without me really going through each and every single document and trying to figure it out myself. So I do that, and it says that the company has a diverse purchasing pattern. They're buying services, they're buying office equipment, and then it shows you some information based on the data that you have in the system. So this way, it's really easier for me to get very relevant information very quickly about that contact before I contact them. All right, so that's just some of the things that you can look at from a field perspective. However, what you can also do is, say for example, you always get in touch with the same customers, with the same kind of customers, and what you're interested in is building a template that is generated by AI. So what you can do, if you go into the templates that you have and say I want to manage a new template and I'm going to create a new template, or I'll just go to the one I pre-prepared. So as you can see here, this is an AI generated welcome email, and it says based on the industry of the contact, it's the company name, can you draft an email to the name of the person, mentioning the main pain points companies of similar industries to the company name face, and why they need an ERP like Odoo. All right. So then what you can do is just easily by pressing send a message, going into that templates that you've pre-generated, and then choosing the AI generated welcome email. Odoo, with the help of AI, will generate an email. So it says, Dear Henry, which is the name of the contact, in industries similar to Elite industry, companies face issues such as, such as, such as. So it gives that personal touch to the email without you really going and typing each and every single email. Now, obviously, we can't really 100% rely on it because it's based on information we find in the internet. So what you can do is it drafts you that email. You can go in, you can change some things, and that can make your day-to-day work way faster. So press send, and now you've sent that email to your customer. All right. Now, let's jump a bit to a different side of the business, on the recruitment side. So if I go into my recruitment and I look at my applications in a Kanban view, just to make it a bit simpler, and say, for example, that, Enrique Jones was a new candidate that has applied for a specific job position. We can see they have applied, and this is their resume. We don't have any notes here, so we don't have any information about them. Nobody has got in touch. Now, again, with the help of AI, what I've pre-done was I put in an automation where you can update using AI and build the SWOT analysis of the candidate named the name of the candidate, applying for the job position that they applied for. And that is all done by reading the main attachment. So AI will actually read that document, the PDF document that you have on the system, and it will build a SWOT analysis for you. So if I jump back here again, if you look at Enrique Jones, we don't have any notes for them here. The moment I move Enrique Jones into the qualified stage, as you can see, it will load a bit in order for it to read it. And then also to update the notes for you. So, we've had an error. Let's look at, say, this one. So this was one that I've done as well before the call. So this was the SWOT analysis that was generated for that applicant, so called Kelly Walland, and this is what the AI had to read for me. So again, it helps you do things in a very easy way, help you generate information and things that you generally would consume time trying to figure out yourself by just a click of a button. And as you saw, maybe like 5 seconds of loading time, and then you have the rest of the information here available for you. And you can put that on every level. Maybe in the first interview, you want them based on the application that they've based on the job position that they have applied for, to create a set of questions that you want to ask them, again based on the main attachment that they've attached. Maybe you want to ask them about a specific experience that they had in a specific country that might have seemed interesting. So you have the possibility to be creative as well with giving information to the AI to get more and more information, because at the end of the day, it's all based on the prompt that you put in. So the better the prompt, the better and more accurate you're asking for that information, the better the results are going to be. All right. Then I'll jump into one last thing before I give it back to Ryan, which is AI agents. So within Odoo, you have the possibility to create AI agents where you can feed in all the information that the AI should answer from. Maybe like it could be, something that is related to your terms and agreements, to maybe an AI bot that will start answering questions on your behalf. You could do that, but what you could also do is something here that we that we have, which you can also access directly from here, which is the Ask AI, where you can also ask it based on the information that you have. So say, can you tell me what are the top products being sold over the last months? And then you do that, AI will read the information in your database, and then it will give you an answer. Now, if it can also give you a view, it will also give you a view of a report that is generated on that question that you've asked. So these are all the products that we've sold, and as you can see, the one that we sold the most was a developer service. And then you can actually see that view here. You can also change more and more. You can play in that pivot table. Maybe you want to see who sold them. So you can go and type salesperson and you can see Mark Demo, Mitchell Admin. So all of these. So it gives you that initial report, and then you can add on it. Now, that can be done again on all the apps that you have on Odoo, because the moment you ask questions, it will read and try to get you that answer and then move you into that view. And then the other agent that you see here is the compliance assistance, which basically is run on ChatGPT or GPT 4.0, where you can actually, again, communicate as if you're communicating with another AI tool. So I say, I am in touch with a customer that had a failed implementation, let's say ERP implementation. What should I do to get them to be assured? And I asked that. Let's just close that. And then the moment I do that, the AI will think and it will give you an answer. So you need to understand the issues, communicate openly, offer solutions, involve experts. So again, could help you on your day-to-day task, rather than you leaving the system that you're working with to look or to communicate with AI. We've given you that possibility directly here from the chatterbox in Odoo. Now, this is what I wanted to show you today related to AI. Now you have way more that we can show, because as I said, it's really embedded on all the applications. So you can be as creative as you want and put it into your workflows. However, these are some of the workflows that I wanted to focus on. And obviously, if there's more that you'd like to see from AI or from Odoo, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me personally, or get in touch with Ryan or with Target Integration, as they're one of our best implementation partners in the UK and Ireland, and they can definitely help you assess Odoo as a solution for your business. I'm gonna stop sharing here. I'll give it back to Ryan, and if you have any questions, I'm available here.
Thanks a million, Waleed. I really appreciate that. It was a great run through Odoo 19 and all the latest AI features that are coming with it. It's really exciting, and you can really see the benefits of how it will sort of optimize workflows and all that type of thing. But yeah, like the main thing we can see from Stacey and Waleed is, unless you have that data or you train AI in the correct way, it's not going to work for you in the best way possible. So the more information that you can provide it, the more clarity it can really sort of help you in your day-to-day dealings with business. And I'm just looking over the Q&A here. Stacey has kindly answered a few of them already, which is
Sorry,
fantastic.
just doing it in the
Is
background.
No, you're grand, you're grand. Is there any questions that you'd like to sort of expand on that you've already
Yeah, I
answered?
think I think the main thing with using AI, you need to consider the tools that you're using, right? So the likes of Odoo are really beneficial because they have that open API. What does that mean? It's a plug, right? So you can plug other tools into it, you can link them together. You think of a plug into a wall, you can link things together. Or I think of it more of an extension lead. You can have multiple things, not the most safe probably from an extension lead point of view, right? But the main thing is that you can link other tools into it. So I know people are going to start getting into more of the financial, the med tech, the healthcare, the encryption, safeguarding it, and people are building out custom GPTs, or they're building out their own AI solution to link in with a tool like Odoo, which is going to build out their knowledge base, things like that. So in one of the responses, I have things called like RAG, Retrieval Augmentative Generative. Basically, it's like a knowledge base, all your text. So you might use Copilot with Microsoft, it's going in using your data. You're going to build your own, and you need to sit it on an EU compliant cloud-based solution. So it's GDPR protected as well. So that gets that extra compliance layer. What you need to think about as Odoo is, okay, what are you going to use Odoo for? What part of the process? What do you need the agent to do? How are you going to build out the knowledge? So is some people are asking from a marketing perspective, if you know your own brand voice, your tone, your profession, how you speak, like, Stacey's a little bit crazy, I put that into it, I build that into it, I'm very energetic. You have to really consider the context. So having kind of documentation that explains your brand, your voice, your tone of voice, your information, your data, what you want to build out your marketing, and then plugging it into marketing tools like Odoo's campaigns, that's going to help, the marketing automation piece. So you just need to think about how you link the tools. So there's some tools that you can use, things like N8N or make.com, which are kind of going to add an extra layer, so you can have locally served data in your own data set that nobody else can access, and link it in then with Odoo, put guide rails around it, and that's going to make it safer for you. So you have to consider how you're going to link other tools in here to link in with Odoo to build out everything else that's already built in as standard kind of functionality in Odoo. But what else do you want to build, and how can you link them together? So having an open API allows you to do that. Looking at other tools, then you have to, again, go back to my question, why are you doing it? What are you trying to get out of it? What is the outcome? So if you want to build something that's a marketing content agent, you need to consider who you are, what you do, what is the volume of the content that you want to get out, what is the tone of voice, embed your videos, your content, etc. You don't just have to use standalone tools. Like if I'm doing content creation, I might use CapCut, I might use the teleprompter on it to write down, we use ChatGPT to create content, brainstorm, human in the loop, add in my content, my tone, my personal voice, then add it, copy and paste it out, put it in CapCut's teleprompter, and then talk to the video. That's going to using human in the loop with AI. It's just speeding up my process. So instead of like spending hours editing a video, I'm spending 15 minutes to get something out really, really quickly, so I can react very fast. And I can react very fast to my customers, to my clients, then I'm going to get more engagement. So it's about using the different tools combined together. Then I use that video later on to send a follow-up about something that I've sent, the video you might have seen earlier, add that in with Odoo's content and say, here's a white paper about how to actually do that. So it's about incorporating all the tools together. You don't just have to use it separate. And I know that's very long-winded, but that's the story of my life. That's my brand, that's my voice, that's my tone. So I hope that answers, but you need to think about, what are you trying to achieve? If it's fintech data, what is the outcome? Is it going to be faster? Is it beneficial? If the return on investment isn't, then you don't use AI. If it is, then you use AI. So you have to be smart about when and how you use AI. But you have to be safe about your data. That is so vital. So you can locally serve your data. It doesn't have to be sitting on a cloud. You have to just protect it and be compliant. It goes back to what I said earlier about the ethics of AI. Are your customers comfortable with you putting that data out there? If they're not, can you show them that it's locally served and that it's safe and it's compliant? And that makes them feel more encouraged for you to use the AI tool. Again, EU AI Act is going to stipulate that you have to be forthcoming about where you're using AI in the business. So you have to make sure that they are aware of what you're using the tools for and how they're safe. So you have to link all those foundations together and link it in with a tool or tech stack that's going to be beneficial for your business. So it's really important that you have to go back to the question, why, understand the outcome, safeguard it, apply your ethics, your compliance, and then you're going to have a tool that's going to be, people are going to be comfortable with using, whether that's your employees or your partners. I want to make sure it's like any other questions there, because I know there's a few more coming in, but I hope that kind of covers.
You're a wealth of
think,
knowledge, Stacey.
Sorry?
I said you're a wealth of knowledge.
I think you just have to be creative. Like when I was going back to just the example of content creation, I needed to get videos out very fast. There's no point me using a tool that's going to transcribe something that's not really sounding like me. So I think using human in the loop and then finding the right tools that allow me to do that very efficiently, that's where AI becomes beneficial. I don't want to spend hours writing and rewriting. The other question that came in there is about that every time they use ChatGPT, the response is different. You have to remember there's a machine behind this. There's not a human, giving you the same response. And from a compliance perspective, you sit in compliance, using tools, you're not going to get the same output every single time potentially, because it has basically maths. I'm going to try to simplify it, but there's maths happening at the background. It either groups things together, or it takes one question in, and how you prompt it is going to be different every time. The context where it's sitting, is it sitting in a project folder in ChatGPT, or is it an individual chat prompt? You're going to get a different response. They're working on that. There was an article a couple of months back from Thinking Labs. Mira Murati, she was one of the co-founders with OpenAI back in the day. She's kind of spearheaded this new Thinking Labs. There's a whole report on that. I've done a video on that previously. But you need to be careful when you're in a compliance or regulated industry that you're going to get the same output every time. We're not there yet. It's not perfect. So you use AI for the areas that you don't need the exact same response every single time, and you use it as a co-pilot to do what you would do from a compliance perspective, but just speed up your process faster. So it isn't, you can't just tell it what to do. It's not a human. It's like a really enthusiastic intern that will just tell you what it thinks you want to hear rather than giving you accurate information. So you always have to grill that intern and make sure what they're saying is actually accurate and their sources are verified. So when you think of it in that way, it changes your perspective of how you use AI. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Stacey. I think the other two questions left are more on the Odoo side. One of the questions says, in the recruitment example, can Odoo compare the CV with the candidate's LinkedIn profile? To be completely honest with you, I haven't tested that per se. I can test that and let you know. If you can drop your email, or if you can drop me an email after this, I can check that for you. Because at the end of the day, we are based on external AI, so it's not an Odoo AI per se. So if that can be done somewhere else, potentially it can be done, because the information about the CV through the attachment is available in Odoo. Now we'd only need to check if that AI is able to actually read in LinkedIn. But then if both the information, both sets of information are there, you can definitely then do a comparison and see if there's any inconsistencies. And again, with the SWOT analysis, it's based on the small prompt that I added, which is just give me a SWOT analysis. So it's based on the criteria that the AI has set. However, if you write a more detailed prompt, which I didn't want to, write all demo, I just wanted to show you what can be done. But if you write in exactly what is the job description, or what is the criteria that you want the SWOT analysis to be done on, then you'll get the answer more accurate based on what you're looking for. That was more of a generic SWOT analysis that was done, but obviously you can define the criteria and define what you want it to base the answer on.
And just to add to that, Waleed, I think it would be good to maybe use something like LinkedIn Odoo in with N8N, and maybe building out your RAG on your analysis piece, and then pushing it back into Odoo to trigger the next piece, like that card part as well, or doing your own analysis. Again, it'll locally be served, so nobody will steal your IP of how you do your analysis. But again, just a thought on that.
Yeah. And then the second question says, can Odoo summarize and analyze uploaded text documents or even financial info? Can data information from one doc used in other different Odoo apps? Yeah, definitely. So if you saw while I was writing the prompts, I had that dynamic placeholder where you're able to actually read and capture a specific field. Those fields are there on all of the database. I was choosing what where that field is located. So I was, if you remember in the example of the sales orders, I was choosing that I wanted to look at the sales orders, I wanted to look at the order lines, and then I wanted to look at the quantities. However, those are on the sales app while I was on the contacts app. So it was reading information from different applications, and you can do the same with, again, all the apps in Odoo, because Odoo is Odoo is a fully integrated solution. All the applications are integrated. Those smart buttons that I was talking about on the top of the contacts page, they were showing you, for example, how much was invoiced to this customer. So that links to the accounting. You can see how many help desk tickets that there was. So that links to the help desk app. You can see literally each and every single application and all the forms that have been linked to that specific contact. So it's all fully integrated with each other. And once you use the AI in the way you want, it can read information based on all of the database. Like the last example where I was choosing the AI agent, I wasn't really in any application, but I was asking it on the sales. How much sales have I done? What is the most sold product? And then it took you to that page. So again, you have the possibility to do it. You just need to really prompt the questions accurately.
Fantastic. I think that is all the questions, unless there's any more there. If anyone has any more, please feel free to shoot them in. I know we've gone over time now, so I will probably just go to the end slides, but we'll be reaching out to you with this recording and the materials that we provided within. And I'm going to provide you the details of both Stacey and Waleed. One moment. Just come here. Oh, where's that button? Oh, sorry. I'll just go from here. But basically, this is the details from Odoo for Waleed. So feel free to reach out. Is there anything you'd like to add, Waleed, or is that's perfect?
No,
Yeah,
yeah, that's about it. Thank you for being here and attending this talk. And obviously, that's my email. You can get in touch. But like I said, I work closely with target integration. So even if you get in touch with target integration, I'll also be in touch with you as the point of contact from Odoo directly.
fantastic. And then I'll just pass over to Stacey if it loads. A few technical
It's okay.
difficulties.
Yeah, you can scan the QR code if you want to see our website. We obviously look at everything from SMEs to corporate. So if they're looking for an ERP system, we generally will signpost them to target integration for implementation. We kind of work from a strategic point of view, kind of from a high level, looking at kind of how you can actually use AI, linking it in with the tools and tech stack that you have, and identifying what the tech stack is. So we've utilized target integration when they're doing the Odoo implementation. We work really well with them. So yeah, if you are looking for us, you can follow us on socials as well. We also have content on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. Thanks for having me, guys, as well.
Not
Great
at all.
questions as
Thanks for
well.
joining us. And then this is
Okay,
just
have a great
the
day.
ending slide for target integration. So as I said, I'll be reaching out with all the materials, and I'll provide the details of both Stacey and Waleed if you want to reach out for further information. But thanks a million for everyone to join us today. I really appreciate it, and hope you learned plenty about AI and have a bit more understanding about it and using it in your day-to-day practices. But we'll see you next time. We have another webinar coming up in the next 2 weeks. So keep an eye on our socials, and we'll be posting all about it, and it's specifically about the food manufacturing space. But thanks once again, and thanks a million to Stacey and Waleed for joining for this webinar. I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic having you.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a good day, everyone.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.